Charles Garvey moved from Fargo, North Dakota in the 1950s to the Santa Rosa area of California. Attending UC Davis for his bachelor's degree and later the University of Wisconsin-Madison for his MD, his time in education placed him squarely in the anti-war demonstrations of the 1960s. I asked him a few questions about it.
I was not active in the protests at Davis. There had been some protests, but most of them had occurred at University of California at Berkeley. So there was always some contingent of undergrads from Davis and grad students going down to Berkeley to get into the larger protests. And there was just a lot of anger among the young folks especially about having no hero out there. Martin Luther King had just been killed, Bobby Kennedy had just been killed, Gene McCarthy, who had been the flag bearer for the anti-war movement, had dropped out. It was Humphrey or nobody, and for a lot of people it was nobody, and kind of an angry angst about what was going to happen next. But I was in medical school. That was all beyond me. It was all happening outside of the daily grind of anatomy, except for one day, and this would be probably soon after the election. There was a huge demonstration on Bascom Hill in Madison, and the National Guard had been placed on campus to protect the freedoms of students and staff and that sort of thing. And I guess the National Guard was pushing back down the west side of Bascom Hill, right past the medical school, and we could hear them outside chanting. No shots fired or anything like that, but just a lot of noise. Finally, the anatomy professor said, "I know everybody's interested in what's going on out there, so just for the moment, crank down your cadaver and stand on the tanks if you want to look out the windows," which were ceiling height. And so we did. I'll just never forget the sense of being a little bit intimidated by being in medical school altogether and then watching outside the building while we're in the midst of a dissection. There was a worsening of violence after the election, but it really got much worse in 1969. But I do remember some of my fellow students banded together and became first aid workers for protesters who got tear gassed. One night, there was this huge sound about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we both bolted upright from bed, and your grandmother said, "What was that?" And I said, "That was a bomb." And a bomb had gone off on campus at the Army Math Research Center. Yeah, he died, and his name was Robert Fosnot. Nobody who was there will ever forget that, because it was just a huge tragedy. So you see how radical